Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suranjali Seal, and like I always say, if you are somebody that loves literature and is all about literature, then this is the channel for you. In our video today, we're going to begin discussing one of my favorite texts by Christopher Marlowe entitled Dr. Faustus. Now, I've already discussed Christopher Marlowe and his life and works in one of my other videos, so if you haven't checked that video out, make sure you do so. Everything about Christopher Marlowe's life has been dealt with there. In our video today, we're beginning an introduction to Marlowe's Dr. Faustus. This is a detailed explanation. In my subsequent videos, just like I did for Shakespeare's Macbeth, I'm going to also discuss act-wise and scene-wise discussions and analysis and detailed explanations. I'm going to do all of that in the videos that are to come. Today, we're going to start with Dr. Faustus. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So right at the get-go, we're going to talk about the sources of the play. So we don't know this. Many of us don't know this. Okay, some of us might, but I'm sure many of us don't know this, that Dr. Faustus was actually a real person. The play that Christopher Marlowe wrote entitled Dr. Faustus is based on the life of a real person, okay? And although the legendary and fictional accounts, this is if you have a look at the screen, although the legendary and fictional accounts of him have been more famous than his actual historical life. So, you know, the fictional accounts like Goath's Faust or Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe, these fictional accounts and the legends surrounding this persona of the real life Dr. Faustus, right? The persona or the myth, okay, or the legends, right, surrounding his life is exaggerated basically. The real person, okay, his name was Johann Georg Faust, was a German alchemist, astrologer, and magician. So he had gained name and fame because he dabbled in astrology. He had an idea of astrology. He had an idea of magic and alchemy. This is the, like, you know, nowadays when we think about astrology, we think that what's the big deal, he was an astrologer, right? Even we have some kind of an idea of the zodiac signs and all of these things, like what's the big deal? But look at his birth and death dates. No, it's 1480 and 1540, so it's centuries ago where he actually gained knowledge and expertise in astrology, in magic and alchemy. So the kind of person that he was at a time when science and technology was still developing, it was not as developed as today. Astronomy, astrology was not as developed as it is today. You know, it is centuries old. In the 1500s and 1400s, medieval ages, he mastered astrology. He actually gained expertise in astrology. He gained expertise in magic and alchemy. So the person that he was, no, the kind of aura and the character that he was, and because he dabbled in alchemy and astrology and magic, right, because he he could do all of these things, that's why there's a lot of legends and myths surrounding his character, like, and they are usually exaggerated. Maybe in real life he was not a necromancer. Maybe in real life he did not use magic to revive the dead. Maybe in real life he was not like the character of Faustus, which we see in the play Dr. Faustus. Maybe not, he was not like that, but you know, because like he was such a person that there are myths and legends that are surrounding his persona, and they are usually exaggerated. But all in all, we have to remember as students of literature that Dr. Faustus was a real person, and Christopher Marlowe based his Dr. Faustus, okay, his Dr. Faustus on this character, this real life person. The character of Faustus is based off of him. So the most famous depiction of Faustus is in literature. So there are many myths and legends, I told you, right, surrounding his persona, the most famous of which is in literature. Of course, we know that. So particularly in Marlowe's play and Goath's Faust. Goethe also wrote, okay, Faust is a work of literature, that's the title. So Marlowe had written Dr. Faustus, Goethe had written Faust, okay. So these fictional accounts exaggerate his character and add elements like the pact with the devil, which are not supported by historical evidence. That is, historically, it is not proved that the real life Dr. Faustus actually sold his soul to the devil or actually practiced necromancy. That was not, in real life, there is no evidence of it. But in literature, there's this exaggerated, you know, it has been exaggerated, the character of Faustus, and that adds to the mystery of this character. So Historia von die Johann Fausten, the first Faust book, okay, the first Faust book, that is the first book that talks about Faustus, is a chapbook of stories concerning the life of Johann Georg Faust, written by an anonymous German author. It was translated into English under the title The History of the Damnable Life and Deserved Death of Dr. John Faustus. So, this is a book, okay, by an anonymous German writer, The History of the Damnable Life and Deserved Death of Dr. John Faustus. This is the book from which Christopher Marlowe must have gotten inspiration, okay. It became the main source for the play The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe and Goethe's closet play Faust. So, what is the takeaway? That there was this real life person whose name was Johann Georg Faust, okay, he was a German person who was an alchemist, astrologer and magician. And because at a time like this he was dabbling in these kind of arts, right, that is why there's a lot of myths and legends that are surrounding his character. Then some anonymous writer had written The History of the Damnable Life and Deserved Death of Dr. John Faustus. Christopher Marlowe and Goethe had both read this. They got inspired and influenced by this, and then they wrote their respective works of literature. So Christopher Marlowe wrote The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus, which we are going to discuss in our videos, and Goethe wrote the closet play Faust. So I hope this is clear. Now we're going to just discuss the opening of the play. So right at the get-go, we have enter the chorus. Chorus, okay, inspired by the Greek chorus. We're going to discuss and analyze the role of the chorus as well. So the chorus enters the stage, okay, and what does the chorus do? Okay, I'm going to do this. This is the actual text. Everything that is written in white, right, on the left hand side of the screen, everything in white is the actual text, and the everything that is written in yellow and the explanations has been given like near it, okay. Just below the white you have the yellow writings, which is actually a translation of the text. The white is the actual text, and I've included analysis also, which we're going to discuss. So let's look at this. Chorus enters and the chorus is on stage. This is the opening of Dr. Faustus. And what does the chorus say? So, not marching now in fields of Thrasymene, okay, where Mars did mate the Carthaginians, okay. Not sporting in the dalliance of love. So the white portion you can read by yourself because it is the actual text, right? But I'll still explain. So not marching now in the fields of Thrasymene where Mars did mate the Carthaginians. Okay. So what is this talking about? Right off the bat, right in the beginning, right in the opening, the first line, okay, by the chorus, there's a reference to what? So you have to know that what are the fields of Thrasymene? What happened, okay, you have to know. The poet does not intend to describe through his powerful verse the march of armies in the battlefields of Lake Thrasymene. It is a shallow lake in central Italy, okay, this is a shallow lake. I have included the picture also, where the god of war helped the Carthaginians to defeat the Romans, okay. So see, in Thrasymene, okay, so basically the chorus is saying we're not going to talk about fights, we're not going to talk about armies, we're not going to talk about great battles like the battle fought in Thrasymene, the fields of Thrasymene, right? We're not going to talk about all of that, where God, okay, god of war, that is Mars, okay, helped the Carthaginians. Who are the Carthaginians? The Carthaginians originated from Phoenicia, but they migrated west and established Carthage around 814 BC. The Carthaginians had significant victories over the Romans during the Second Punic War. Notably, they won major battles at Lake Thrasymene. So see, what happened in Lake Thrasymene is the god of war Mars helped the Carthaginians to defeat the Romans, okay. So here the chorus is saying we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about big wars and, you know, we're not going to talk about gods and wars and powers like that. He says that nor does the poet want to talk about amusements and the pleasures of love. We're not going to talk about war. We're not going to talk about pleasure and love. That's not what we want to do, okay, in the play. Not yet does he want to talk of courts where governments are likely to be overturned. So we're not going to talk about politics, okay, that's what the chorus is saying. Nor does the poet want to talk about proud military achievements. We're not even going to talk about defense. Our intention is only this, gentlemen. So imagine you're in the audience and on the stage the chorus is saying this to the audience, that our intention, gentlemen, we must represent on stage the life of Faustus, good or bad. So what they're saying, we're not going to talk about armies, we're not going to talk about wars, we're not going to talk about politics or defense, we're not even going to talk about love. What we are going to talk about is a man, and this man, we're going to talk about the life, okay, the life of Dr. Faustus. Okay, this is the motive of the play. We must represent on stage the life of Faustus, good or bad, both good and bad, everything that he has achieved, okay, in life, and till his death, whatever he has gone through, we are going to represent that on stage. So we appeal to your patient judgments to applaud our performance if you like it. So the audience is directly addressing, the chorus is directly addressing the audience, and they're saying, we are leaving it up to you to judge. You watch the whole play, everything that is going to take place on the stage, you watch it, and we're leaving it up to you to actually judge by your conscience, to applaud, to give us, a thumbs up that yes, the play was good. Okay, we're leaving it up to your judgment to judge the play and our performance. Okay, it's up to you to judge. And we will talk of the life of Faustus from his childhood onwards. So we're setting the stage. What is the chorus doing? Is telling us what is going to happen in the play. So what is the chorus saying? That we're going to talk about the life of Faustus beginning from his childhood. Now, he is born to parents of a humble background in Germany, in a town called Rhodes. Okay, this is the town where Faustus is born. And when he is attained maturity, he went to Wittenberg, where he was brought up by his relatives. So right off the bat, in the opening lines, we understand that we're going to talk about a man. We're going to talk about a human being. And who is this human being? Dr. Faustus. We're going to talk about his childhood. So firstly, we come to know that he came from a very humble background. His parents were humble, and he belonged to a humble background. And then after that, he went to his relatives in Wittenberg, and he was brought up there. So, Dr. Faustus was not really, it's not hinted here anywhere that he was born a genius or he was born rich. He was born from a humble background. So that is the first step of relatability. That is, the audience will relate to Dr. Faustus when we see Faustus, right, as an established philosopher, as an established magician. When we see him in the opening act, we'll relate to him, that we know his background. He came from a humble background, and now he is famous. He's famous. He knows Aristotle, he knows philosophy. We kind of know that he struggled to get this far. So this information in the chorus section is given to us for relatability, so that we relate to the character. Okay, so now we're going to move on further. So what is the next information that is given to us? Soon he gains profit in theology. So what is theology? Theology is the study of the nature of God and religious beliefs. So this is what he gains profit in. That is, he gains expertise in this kind of knowledge. He gains expertise in theology, the study of God and the nature of things. This is a stronghold. Okay, this is what he studied about. So the fruitful garden of scholarship was graced by his researches. The fruitful plot of scholarism graced. That is, there's so many scholars, right? When research is being done, they add to the body of human knowledge, okay, of the world. So in any field, when a scholar is researching, you're adding knowledge, right? So in this garden of scholarship, that's what they're saying, in this fruitful garden where there's so much of knowledge, right? In this garden of scholarship, in research, right? He graced this garden by his researches. His researches were fruitful for scholarship or scholarism, or in the field of research. His works were important. He has contributed significantly. And soon he was awarded his doctorate of divinity. So he gained a doctorate in what? Divinity. So he studied theology and he gained his doctorate in divinity, that is religious beliefs, nature of God, reality, all of these things, right? He gained a doctorate in this. And what happens after that? He actively took part in theological debates and discussions. So he's a learned man. In his field, he is it's his stronghold. So in his field, he is exceptional. Okay, or in his field, he knows what he's doing, basically, he's the master of his field. So he actively takes part in debates and discussions pertaining to God and heaven. Because of his knowledge, he was swollen with pride and arrogance. So the first step to the downfall of any human being is pride and arrogance. Every time you achieve something, you should applaud yourself. Yes, I achieved this. But if that becomes the source of your pride, that I achieved this and nobody else is better than me, then that is the first step towards your downfall. So there's a trick over here, okay? I'll try to tell you. Like when you read a text, right, try to analyze it this way. In the first slide, no, when the chorus was speaking, I told you he came from a humble background. So we're raising Faustus is, going high in our esteem. Like this is the level where he starts from, and he's just going high even in our esteem, in the impact that it has on the audience. We know that Faustus worked hard, got a doctorate, and now he's an established scholar. He's a learned man. So we have the soft corner for him, that yes, he came from a humble background, but he worked hard. Now, immediately the chorus itself is telling us, the chorus is informing us, the audience, that yes, he struggled, he achieved something, but after that achievement, instead of being thankful, right, or grateful, he gives himself the credit. Of course, you give yourself credit for working hard, but he's giving himself the credit to the level that it goes to pride, that he's proud, he's arrogant, he says that nobody is better than me, I am the best. So we get a hint that this is the first step towards his downfall. So what is the next thing that the chorus is saying? The chorus is saying that because he was swollen with pride and arrogance, because of this reason, his fate became like that of Icarus. That is, there's a reference to Greek mythology here, okay? They're saying that because Dr. Faustus was so overtaken with pride and arrogance, that his fate, the outcome of his life, right, it became just like that of Icarus. So we have to know who is Icarus and what happened to Icarus. Then only we'll know the analogy, right? So who was Icarus? What happened to Icarus? And why? Why is this fate, okay, the same for Dr. Faustus? So who was Icarus? The story of Icarus is from Greek mythology, okay? It tells of a boy who, defying his father Daedalus's warnings, flew too close to the sun with wax-covered wings and perished. Daedalus and Icarus had been imprisoned, and Daedalus fashioned wings for them to escape. Icarus, overcome by the joy of flight, ignored his father's instructions and soared too high and too close to the sun, causing the wax to melt and his wings to fall apart. So what is happening here, I'll tell you, okay? So the story of Icarus is like this. Daedalus is a person, okay? So Daedalus and his son Icarus were imprisoned, okay? They were in prison, that is in jail, so to say. They were imprisoned, okay? Now they planned to escape. Daedalus, okay, the father planned that, okay, they'll escape. How will they escape? He used wax, right? Candle wax. He used the wax to make wings for himself, and he made wings for his son. And they were about to use this wings, made out of wax. They were about to use it to escape the prison. Now they escaped the prison, but Daedalus had told his son that, Icarus, listen to me. Don't fly close to the sun. Don't go close to the sun because it's wax, right? So the wax will melt. So don't get carried away and just go closer to sun. Don't soar so high and don't go so close to the sun that the wax will melt. But what did Icarus do? When Daedalus and Icarus both flew out of the prison, right? They broke free. They escaped the prison. Icarus was so overjoyed, okay, of the flight that he was flying. He was able to fly. He was so overjoyed that he flew higher and higher and higher, completely forgetting or not giving any heed to the warnings of his father. And he got so close to the sun that his wings melted and his wings fell apart and he fell to his doom. So what is the story here? The story here is that Icarus was overjoyed with whatever he had, right? He was taking the wings for granted and he was going higher and higher and higher, completely not listening to his father's warnings, okay? To a point where his wings melted and he fell to his doom. So how is this related to Dr. Faustus? Those of you who know the story, you know that warnings keep coming to Dr. Faustus in the form of the good angel and the bad angel, right? So the chorus is giving us a hint over here that there will be warnings given to Dr. Faustus throughout the play. Every now and then there will be a warning given to him that don't do this, Faustus, do not go down the wrong path. But does Faustus give heed to those warnings? No. He keeps wanting more and more, soaring high and and high, up to a point where his greed leads to his downfall. What is the point of the story of Icarus? Icarus tells us a moral lesson, teaches us a moral lesson. What is this moral lesson? Icarus flew too close to the sun. That is, you have achievements, you are going behind a dream, but don't get carried away, right? If you get carried away, you'll meet with similar consequences. What goes around will come around, right? Always. See, who heavens conspire to overthrow, his fate will become like that of Icarus, who the heavens conspire to overthrow. So see, there's always this question of the supernatural, of God, that what goes around comes around. Good karma will lead to good reactions, good fruits, right? That's what we believe. So if you treat somebody with kindness and respect, you'll get that kindness and respect back. So your actions matter. So over here, when you are saying that the story is of Icarus, okay, whatever happened to Icarus will happen to Dr. Faustus, okay, there's a significance to it. What is the significance? That what goes around comes around. That Dr. Faustus will be planting seeds even after being given multiple warnings by the good and bad angels. Okay, he is going to plant seeds that will lead to his downfall. This is what the chorus is hinting. Okay. So Faustus began to indulge in the exercise of dark magic and greedily amassed knowledge and an excessive interest in necromancy, the supposed practice of communicating with the dead. Now, what is this? Dr. Faustus, you and I and everybody, suppose, okay, we have amassed degrees, we've amassed knowledge. Suppose now I have amassed a knowledge of English literature. What am I doing? Teaching, right? So that it helps somebody. What Dr. Faustus is doing, has amassed knowledge in theology. Okay, he's a learned man. But is he putting his knowledge to good use? No. He is practicing dark magic. He is practicing necromancy. Necromancy is communicating with the dead. Okay, he could have put it to fruitful use, to good use, to aid the society, to aid people, but no. He was focusing on the wrong things. Dr. Faustus he was putting his knowledge to bad use. So the consequences will also be bad, right? And he was taking everything for granted. So nothing so sweet as magic is to him. He prefers magic as his chiefest bliss. That is, everything that he wanted was based on this greed for more. He wants more. Everything for him is magic. He wants to achieve everything by magic. He wants to practice magic, okay? Rather, he could use theology to actually teach people, to impart knowledge, to better the society, to help people, but no. He wanted magic. And you will see that he uses magic not for good means, but to bad ends, okay? He uses magic for greed and power, okay, which will lead to his downfall inevitably. So, and this is the man whom we see sitting in his study. So the chorus is introducing Dr. Faustus to us. I told you the stage is there, chorus is on the stage, narrating all of this to us, okay, and then towards the end, before the chorus leaves the stage, the chorus says, this is the man who we see sitting in his study. That is, the chorus will move and you will see Dr. Faustus sitting on stage. It is a play, right? So Dr. Faustus is sitting on stage and the scene is that he's sitting in his study with a book, okay, that's where Dr. Faustus is sitting. Now, this is the man whom we see sitting in the study. So what has the chorus done? All throughout, the chorus has given us a background. The chorus has clearly said we're not going to talk about high-end things. We are going to talk about the life of a man who met his doom because of his actions and decisions. So they have told us about the childhood. They said we are going to talk about Faustus, this man from his childhood. So we have covered childhood to adulthood. We have covered that he has, from a humble background, he rose to a position where he has earned a doctorate. He is an expert in theology. And now we also have been given this information that he is using his knowledge not to good means but bad ends, like that. So we are expecting there's this premonition, okay, or this sort of foreboding, okay, evil foreboding that something bad is going to happen to him because of his decisions, because of the priorities that he gave in life to the wrong things. And what is the chorus also telling us, the audience? That if you try to soar too high, if you take things for granted, if you whatever achievements you have and you have that proudness and arrogance about yourself that I did it, okay, and you don't want to give anybody else credit, and you are greedy and you want more and you're very self-absorbed, so to say, then that kind of person's fate will always be like Icarus. And here the chorus is giving us a moral lesson. The chorus is telling us that you are not supposed to be selfish, you're supposed to be selfless. Of course, you can appreciate yourself, of course you can love yourself, but not to a point where it becomes arrogance and pride, where I am better than everyone else. That is not the attitude. So the chorus is giving us information. Chorus is telling us what the play is about. Chorus is introducing Faustus. The chorus is telling us about Faustus's life, and finally they are introducing Faustus sitting in his study. So now we're going to go into the analysis of the role of the chorus. So what is the role of the chorus? I'll just read this out first, okay? So in Dr. Faustus, the chorus acts as a narrator and guide similar to its function in ancient Greek drama. It provides background information, comments on events, and delivers moral lessons to the audience. The chorus appears multiple times throughout the play, summarizing events, introducing new locations, and ultimately delivering a moral judgment at the end. So I'm going to read this again. This is a paragraph which is absolutely very, very important as far as the chorus is concerned, because the chorus keeps appearing in Dr. Faustus. Okay, I will read this again after I've talked about a few more points. I'll read the following points a little bit, explain them, then again we'll read this paragraph. Okay, so the chorus introduces the theme of the play, setting the stage for Faustus's story and foreshadowing his tragic downfall. So how do we analyze this? The chorus introduces the theme of the play. What is the theme of the play? The life of Dr. Faustus, the tragic history of the life of Dr. Faustus, the ups and downs of Dr. Faustus, the downfall of Dr. Faustus. So we are not talking about high-end things like wars, of politics, of love and pleasures and governance. We are going to talk about a man, a common man who rose to prominence, who tried to play God, right? He was trying to play God by amassing power and using necromancy and magic to have his way. So we are going to talk about such a man, and the theme of the play is how this man met his downfall. They are actually introducing, the chorus is introducing the theme of the play, setting the stage for Faustus's story. Okay, so the story has already begun. We have covered his childhood to adulthood. The story has already begun. And foreshadowing a tragic downfall. Where did they foreshadow a tragic downfall? Because they mentioned Icarus. They mentioned Icarus, right? So that's why that's the foreshadowing, okay? That what is going to happen to Faustus. Then you have introduces us to the intellectual prowess and achievements of Faustus, right? About his, expertise. That's what we're introduced to. Gives us an idea of what to expect. That is the downfall of Dr. Faustus. Icarus reference is important, represents self-destructive aspirations. You should have aspirations. You should have an aim and in life, goals. You should be proud of your achievements, but not to a point where you become self-absorbed and arrogant, okay? So this is self-destructive. If you're all about me all the time, if you're always about, I am better than everybody else, that's self-destructive. That's not constructive. You're not becoming a better human being. You're actually becoming self-absorbed. So you are kind of only talking about yourself. You're disconnected from the rest of the world, and you take your relations with somebody else for granted. So that is going to lead to bad consequences, right? For yourself as a human being also, that is what they're talking about. So the chorus provides commentary on events. You know what this is? Sometimes, suppose this is a scene that's going on. There's a scene that's going on, okay? And then the chorus will come again, and the chorus will come on stage and give commentary on the scenes. And why is this happen? Suppose like there's a scene of love, the audience is watching it, then the chorus will come and comment on it. The chorus will come and say something about it or add to it, okay, before introducing the next scene. Why is that done? So that the audience gets a third perspective, so that the audience gets a fresh view. Sometimes they give a commentary on what is going on stage. That is also to establish a relatability with the audience, make them think about maybe things that they didn't think about. Like you see a love scene and you have a particular view of what is going on, then the chorus comes and says something, and listening to that commentary you have a fresh view. You have a fresh view of what is going on stage. So the chorus comes to also not only introduce the theme of the play. The chorus does not come only to sing, but the chorus has a role. In Greek drama also, the chorus had a major role, and it had to comment. The role was to comment, the role was to introduce the themes, role was to add to whatever is going on in the drama. It's an important role. So often filling in gaps and offering insights into Faustus's actions and motivations. So as we go on with act 1, act 2, act 3, as we progress, right, you will meet the chorus again and again, and I think then you will understand the chorus's importance because I've explained it right now. So they will fill in gaps, give commentaries, they're going to talk about Faustus, and they'll make us as the audience think about what's going on the stage. So the chorus highlights the dangers of ambition and the consequences of seeking forbidden knowledge. So, you know, dark arts and dark magic, necromancy is known as forbidden knowledge. These are not considered good knowledge that one should seek after. Okay, these are dangerous knowledge, and the chorus tells us audience that this is written, you know, 1400s, 1500s. So this was something that was going on in the society, and you know, this is how they told us. They actually set the view that these are forbidden knowledge, not good knowledge systems, and the downfall of Faustus happened because he dabbled in these arts. Okay, that's why in these dark arts he meddled in them. And the dangers of ambition, that's what Dr. Faustus embodies. Ambition, greed for power. He wants more power, become powerful, and he doesn't think about consequences, and that leads to his downfall. So we are going to talk about that first paragraph which I mentioned right in the box. Let's just read that. This is very important. This is the role of the chorus. In Dr. Faustus, the chorus acts as the narrator and guide. So narrator, they have narrated the story. Now guide, they're going to guide us time and again. They're guiding us. This is the man we see sitting on the in the chair. Okay, this is the man we see sitting in his room or in his study. That's what they tell us. They're guiding us through the play, and they're giving us information. So similar to its function in ancient Greek drama, it provides background information, comments on events like I already mentioned, and delivers moral lessons. Okay, and delivers moral lessons like Icarus, that don't soar too high, don't be self-absorbed with ambition, and don't be uncontrolled when it comes to your ambition and dreams, right? Ambition, you have to be in control of yourself and senses and your greed and lust for more power. Okay, so this is your moral lessons to the audience. The chorus appears and in multiple times throughout the play, summarizing events, introducing new locations, and ultimately delivering a moral judgment at the end. So it's not as simple as the chorus comes and just narrates the story. No, they have a role to play, and this is exactly what they do. So they introduce new locations. We're going to see that as we progress, and ultimately delivering a moral judgment at the end, which we will discuss at the end of the play after we are done discussing all the acts. Okay, so this is the role of the chorus. I'll stop here for today. Okay, I'm stopping here for today because I want you to contemplate on it. The chorus has set the scene. The chorus has told us what is going to happen of Dr. Faustus. Immediately in my next video, we're going to start with a detailed discussion of Act 1. We're going to cover it just like I did for Macbeth also, line by line, and literal translations and important explanations. We're going to discuss all that. So I hope this is clear now. We have an idea of who Faustus is and what is going to happen to him. So we now, as audience, right, we just have to answer the question, what does he do? What choices does he make in his life? What choices does Dr. Faustus make in his life that leads him to his tragic end? That we have to see, and we have to see what the moral lesson is towards the end. So I hope this is clear. If this video has been helpful for you, then please don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my channel for similar content. Now that we know what the chorus's role is, I think as we progress through the video, I'll keep recalling back to this part of the video because it's important, and we're going to progress swiftly with Dr. Faustus. It's a relatively easy play written by Marlowe, but it's a famous one, most celebrated one, and it's one of my favorites as well. So till we meet again, I really hope that you stay healthy and happy. See you in the next one, guys.